Hey, top of the morning to you. Man, another weekend, another campsite. I am at the Three Lakes Wildlife Management Area. Not sure what city I'm in. I'm north of Okoboji, Florida. I'm about 20 miles from St. Cloud, Florida, I believe. And I'm on Jackson Lake. I think it's the Jackson Lake campground. Don't quite know for sure because it was a little bit of an adventure last night. 2 days ago was my wife and I's 21st wedding anniversary, and of course she's in Orlando travel nursing. So I hopped in the car. My back was bothering me. I couldn't do a lot, and so I hopped in the car and I headed for Orlando and took to take her out for dinner last night. And so about 5 o'clock, I was flying down the highway about 60 miles an hour, and I saw this sign for this wildlife management area. I hadn't figured out where I was going to camp. I hadn't seen any spots I really liked that were primitive. And I saw this sign. A quick Google search showed that they had camping here, so I turned the truck around, drove back in here, and it is absolutely beautiful. There's a little construction going on. They're doing some habitat revitalization along the waterfront, so that is not visually appealing right now, but that's okay because I didn't bring my kayak, and so that's not one of my goals today. And I'm back in our campsite, or in my campsite, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm under an oak hammock. The birds, I wake up to the birds singing. There's no cars. There's no through road here. So unless you're coming to camp or to put a boat in, which no one has yet on a Saturday morning, there's no traffic back here. There's only 4 or 5 campsites maybe throughout this that I've seen. I saw a car with a small tent early this morning. They must have got in really late last night and just spent the night, and they were up and gone by probably 8 o'clock this morning. And then I went down to check out a creek for some fishing potential, and there was a camp set up there, and they were doing horseback riding on the Florida Trail. So I discovered this morning that this also connects up to the Florida Trail. So that's pretty awesome. For those of you that don't know, the Florida Trail is about 1,000-mile trail that runs throughout Florida, and it will connect up with other trails, in like Georgia, I believe. And a lot of that trail, you're spending time in water, but apparently this is an oak canopy stretch. Apparently very dry and very beautiful. So I'm hoping to maybe check that out. It's going to be hot this weekend. It's going to be in the 90s during the day, so I don't know how much I'm going to get done, especially now that the humidity's kicked up. But right now, it's probably 76, 77 degrees. There's a nice breeze. I'm kind of just waiting to see. It's supposed to rain from about now till about 4 p.m. and then it's supposed to clear up, and then all through the night and all tomorrow it's supposed to be dry. So kind of waiting to see what it does. Right now it's coffee time. Enjoying some mud. Extra thick this morning. I didn't get back out to this camp until I got back out probably around a little after 10 o'clock. But I imagine by the time I got the air mattress put together and everything, the bed made and everything, it was probably close to 11. I sat and had a beer. It was probably midnight before I laid down. So I'm not in any hurry today to get moving. I'm probably going to go explore the area. There's supposed to be another camp in here. I'm going to go try to find that. And then probably get the fishing rod out and see if I can find some fish. So I'm going to enjoy this cup of coffee, and then I'll give you a quick tour of the camp, and then I'm going to hit the road. Alright guys, this is the camp. So I haven't had a chance to set up yet. I haven't had a chance to clean up from the other people, so bear with the mess. Like I said, I got in probably a little after 10 last night. By the time I got set up, had a beer, it was after 11, so I pretty much just crashed out. So today I'll be working on, once the rain for sure has passed, I'll clean up the garbage that's in here. The last people, it's not horrible, but there's some cans in the fire pit. There's some garbage laying around. Not a lot, but a couple pieces. So I'll get the bags out and I'll get that cleaned up. But it does have, it's got a picnic table here, nice sized picnic table. This thing is huge and private. So this is all one campsite. You can see there's the truck back behind that. It's a big wide area. That road goes out to the boat landing. So there is no traffic through here. No other campsites in here. And look how big this is. I mean, you could have 6, 7 tents in here. I've got the big casa with me again this weekend. I do have the hammocks with. But by the time I got in last night, I didn't bother with it. But you can see here back in the back side, I could easily set up the hammock back in here. So this would work for that. There's ample trees, ample shade. And I've got it buttoned up right now. Because again, if that rain comes in, it did rain last night, so I put the flaps down. And again, it's supposed to rain maybe till 4 o'clock today, so I've got it kind of buttoned down. Later on, once the rain's passed, I'll open this thing back up. We'll get some air flowing through there. But look at this big oak canopy I'm underneath. Look at all that Spanish moss. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I mean, tons of shade, tons of space, tons of privacy, and I don't know if you can hear it, but there ain't nothing to hear. I mean, there's birds and crickets, and it is absolutely tranquil. So, really loving this camp. I got to figure out the pay. There's envelopes up front, and I looked through it last night. If I'm not mistaken, basically all they have here is a day fee, and if I'm right, it's based on how many people you have. So for me, it's $3 a day. I mean, that's just ridiculously cheap. For big groups, it's still only like $5 or $10 a day. I mean, it's just, the prices were ridiculously cheap. I'm going to show you this over here. This is all part of the same camp. Now, I suppose you could do, you know, multiple camps in here, but they actually have these camp marks. They got 1, 2, and 3, and this is campsite number 3. So I don't know if they plan on putting additional camps in here in the future, but as of right now, although you could fit several camps in here, this is considered one campsite. So man, I am loving it. Well, listen, I'm gonna get going here. I want to switch out my shoes to something a little more waterproof, and I want to go explore the area. I want to try to find the second camp. There's down further. There's supposed to be another camp. I want to check that out, and then I think I'll do a little fishing. Then I'll come back here, and once the rain stopped, then I'll get everything set up. And I do have the stove out to make the coffee this morning, but I'll fold that up here just in case it does rain. Right now, it is crystal blue skies, so it sure doesn't seem like it's going to rain, but that's what they're telling me. Either way, I'm going to go explore for a while, and I'll come back and relax. See you in a bit. Alright guys, check this out. There's the outhouse. Now that thing is primitive, let me tell you. There's no running water. That's just your standard run-of-the-mill outhouse. So there was, when I got here, or checked it out this morning, there was toilet paper in there. It's not the cleanest, but it wasn't like bad. Like I was okay using it. I don't know that my wife would use it, but I was okay using it. And there was toilet paper, so that was good. So this is the boat landing. Now again, looks like they're doing some restoration here of the shoreline, and so you cannot go down beyond the boat landing. It looks like they've got it posted here, and I imagine they're trying to get some of the native vegetation to come back. But it's got a really nice boat landing. This is actually a really nice facility for something that, you know, like I said, there's a tiny little sign. No idea it was here. I was planning on maybe going to one of the big campgrounds and spending a bunch of money, and I just happened to see this little sign as I flew by. But look at this boat landing. I mean, whether you're putting a pontoon in or you know, regular fishing boat, or my kayaks, you know, it's got a nice floating dock set up there. It's got handicap parking right here. A couple of sand hills sitting down there by the water's edge. I don't know if you can see them. I've seen probably a dozen of the sand hills. Beautiful. I don't know if you can see those. Then it's got this viewing platform here. You can see here, state of Florida construction site, no trespassing. It's a felony to go on there, so they're taking that pretty serious. But it's got this beautiful viewing platform. I mean, this is a heck of a nice facility, and this is, if you look at the railings, this is pretty new, really. So I don't know if this is something that they built, if they're doing a bunch of upgrading on this place. But you can see now, I mean, we're in early May, so the water is really low. But I would imagine that once the rains hit, this will all be underwater. This is Jackson Lake. I can tell you what I was talking about. There's the machinery. So, I mean, it's a beautiful view, don't get me wrong. You got sand hills and ducks. So you take out those big Tonka trucks, and man, I'll tell you what, this is all right. My guess is, based on how low, the floating dock is all the way down, and the water is below the railings. So I would imagine once it rains, that floating dock, I bet you comes up 3-4 feet, which means all of this will be underwater. You could probably fish right from this platform. That's a guess, because I've never been here. That's what it looks like to me. Absolutely beautiful, though. Big parking lot, ample room. I mean, even if you couldn't fit in here for some reason, if it was too full, there's plenty of room back out there. There's sealed garbage can here. Watch it, lizard. Always around. I was checking this out. So this lake, so this is Jackson Lake. It's a 1,000-acre lake. Has bluegill, red-eared sunfish or shellcracker, the black crappie or speckled perch or specks, largemouth bass. It also has catfish in it. Now, of course, it's Florida water. It's probably got other species as well, some of the invasives. I don't know that, but I haven't seen too much water that doesn't around here. So looks like there's some pretty good fishing here. The limit on the crappies is 25. They have to be at least 12 inches long. So I'm thinking if they're letting you keep 25 crappies, there must be a pretty healthy population here. So this is the other camp. You can see there's a road going in here. There's actually a camp very similar to this right across the road, like right over there. This has got a fire pit as well, and a nice picnic table. But again, look at this. Look at the space. This is all just one camp. Now last night there was one, or this morning when I got here, there was one car in here with a little pup tent. But this thing is massive. All under oak canopy. I was kind of hoping there'd be some mushrooms popping this morning. We got rain last night, and it's kind of humid the last couple days, but I don't know if it's just too early for them. I'm just not seeing anything yet. So soon, hopefully. I go to Minnesota in June. I'm hoping to get out and do a little oyster mushroom hunting while I'm there. It's supposed to get humid there in about a week. That'll bring out the oysters, hopefully, especially if they have some rain. All right, guys. Well, that's the facilities. So we got a nice boat launch. We got an outhouse. We've got some huge camps. There's 3 right here, and then there's a creek about maybe a mile from here. That's where the horse camp was set up. So apparently you can camp there. And then on the way back, I saw another little camp just kind of off the road. So looks like there's some campsites scattered through here. So I'm gonna go see if I can find the other actually designated camp, and then I might try a little fishing. I showed you that campsite, and that's got the boat landing, and you can fish right from that. There's actually a little creek just down from it that you can fish. You might be able to hear the fish jumping right here. This little river right here, you can see there's a couple guys down there. Absolutely beautiful. There are black crappie in here, or some kind of a crappie in here, I guess. But this is kind of neat. There's a series of culverts here, controlling the water flow for this river. They've got decent facilities here too. They got a garbage can, a couple little benches there to sit and fish on. Looks like down the road here there might actually be a boat landing or something. I'll have to go check that out. But I might actually get the rod out of the truck and make a few casts down here. Beautiful day. This is the entrance. So as I mentioned, this is the Three Lakes Wildlife Management Area, Prairie Lakes Unit. So this is quite the place. I've never been out here. Like I said, driving by 60 miles an hour and just happened to spot it. Wildlife viewing, hunting, hiking, paddling, boating, camping, fishing, horseback riding, bicycling. I did talk to a couple people that have camped here before. They're here from the Everglades. They said this is an excellent place to hunt. Deer, turkey, hogs. You can fish. Again, there's Lake Marion, Jackson, and Kissimmee. And there's crappie, sunfish, bass, catfish. There's a variety of different fish here. So this is, there's trails all the way through here. I drove around a little bit and kept hitting a few different roads. And I'm telling you what, man, it is absolutely beautiful. A lot of oak hammock areas. Now, we're at the Lake Jackson campground. And you can see here, there's a dry pond campground just beyond where we're at. Now, I haven't figured out quite how to get there because the road I'm on pretty much just ends, like I said, where I'm at. So I don't know. It looks like there's some other camping around here. It's, I think that's, so actually there's camping here. Camping here. So there's camps scattered throughout the place. Looks like they do have a recreation guide for it. Now there's a trail here. It looks like it starts the Florida Trail. So again, this connects up with the Florida Trail. This is over 1,000 miles. Now this one here is 27 miles. I think this loop here, where'd the sign go? Yeah, North Loop connects with the South Loop. So the North Loop is 5.7 miles. And you can see they've got red markers over there on the trees, so that must be where it goes in. I saw it come across the road at a couple spots. There's some white marks on the tree here. You can see the trail kind of going off in there. The road's right over here. So we're at the entrance to this, this Three Lakes wildlife area. And I'm telling you what, guys, it's beautiful in here. If you haven't been in here, this is absolutely a beautiful place. Very quiet, ample fishing opportunities, beautiful campsites. Again, very primitive, so come prepared. But I don't know. I'm pretty impressed so far. I'm going to get back to exploring it. All right, guys, I am on Road 19. So there's several different roads that wind back through here. And they're numbered, which kind of makes it nice, makes it a little easier to find stuff. For Road 19, I'm just winding back through the Prairie Lakes area. It's a still hunt area, and came across this camp. So I don't know if this is the second one that I'm looking for. I think it probably was or is, but this is a pretty big hunt camp. You can see here there's a big fire pit, lots of benches around it, picnic table over there. They've actually even got a hand pump here, so there's water at this camp, which is pretty cool. Looks like it works. Somebody's been using it. Oh, absolutely. That's pretty cool, and huge, huge camp. So you could definitely get vehicles in here or tents. Here's a second picnic table. There is even a nice outhouse here. It actually looks a little nicer than the one at my camp. Now this is early May, and you can see, based on my camp, there's very few people moving around. There are a few people camping out here. Like I said, there's the horse camp that I saw. There was one group this morning, but I mean, really, there's just nobody around. And so you have this place early May, you have it all to yourself. But there's a nice outhouse facility there. And looks like there's a sign behind that. I think maybe there's a trail that heads off. There's trails all along here that head off into the woods. Again, this is a hunting area, so it's pretty, I mean, but obviously when there's no one hiking, or no one hunting, you can hike. So I'm going to keep exploring. I got more road to travel. Just wanted to show you this camp. Well, it's probably the worst time of the day to go for a hike, since it's a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Pretty darn toasty out. There is a nice breeze though. You can see the white mark on the tree here. I'm on the Florida Trail. And according to the sign, there's about 27 miles of the Florida Trail that encompasses this, I think this wildlife management area. And I saw a sign that said there's a Lake Marion observation platform this direction. So I parked the truck and I'm heading back that direction. Now there were no mile markers, so that's kind of interesting. I'm not exactly sure how far this will go. As you can see, there's another white mark. Here's some trail markers. So I'm not exactly sure where I'm going. But I can tell you what, guys, it is beautiful back here. And it's quiet. You cannot hear any traffic. There's some kind of a service road or something here. Heads off that way. Assuming this is, oh yeah, there we go. That's a sign that this is the direction we go. So I'm going to head back in your way, see if I can find this viewing platform. Nice thing about it, this oak hammock offers mostly shade for the walk, so that makes life a little bit more interesting. So if I find anything interesting, I'll bring you back in. Well, I give up. I hiked quite a ways back in there, and I did not find that viewing platform, so I think it's further on that I'm willing to go. I would have went quite a ways today. However, there's two problems I had. One, I didn't bring any gear with me, so I didn't bring any water. I mean, I have my pocket knife, that's it. I don't even have my day pack with me. Normally I carry in the day pack, you know, some emergency stuff like fire starting kits, maybe a little tarp or something if I needed a shelter, just in case I got lost or, you know, a storm blows in or something. I did not do that today. Sorry, I was trying to see where that little road goes. The second problem is, as I was walking further in there, I started hearing the rumbling behind me of a storm moving around. Now, I don't think it's going to hit here, but without any gear, I don't necessarily want to be 2, 3, 4 miles back in the woods and have a nasty storm blow in. So for safety's sake, I'm going to head out. I got a nice hike in. It's beautiful back in here. I mean, this is almost all, well, so far, really all of it's oak hammock. The trail's well marked. There's those white marks along the trees, so no fear there of getting turned around in here, at least not as far as I went. And absolutely quiet. It's just totally silent. Now last night we had those airboats going around. I expect them probably back again tonight. It's Saturday, so wouldn't surprise me if we heard them. But so far today, I haven't heard anything. Met a couple people that were fishing. Very friendly. So far my gear's been left alone back at camp, so I'm pretty happy with this campsite and this wildlife preserve. So there's more exploring to be done here. We'll see how much I get done this weekend. Tomorrow is supposed to be really nice, and there's no chance of rain tomorrow. Really, the rain's supposed to clear out about 7 o'clock tonight. So maybe if I get moving early enough, which I don't always do, maybe I'll come back out here and see if I can find that platform again. But for now, I'm going to head back to the truck and do a little more road exploring. I'll bring you back if I find anything worth seeing. I think the rain has passed for now, so I'm just getting camp set up. There's about a 40% chance for about the next hour, and then it breaks, and then it's gone, you know, basically for the next couple days. So I'm going to take a chance that it's done. So I've got the fire pit set up and ready to go. Palm prawns underneath there to get it ignited. A little bit of dry oak on there to burn. Got the stove up. I got to get that opened up. Got the captain's chair facing the fire. That's important. This is the tent opened up. So earlier I had all the tarps, you know, down and had it rain-proofed, which worked really well. This thing, the water does not get in this thing. But again, it's 14 feet long. So that front end is a screened-in gazebo. And you can see inside there I've got a bin for a table. I actually have a table for that. There's a captain's chair in there and a couple extra bins at storage. Normally, if I was renting that, there'd be 2 captain's chairs in there and a fold-up table, and those bins would be out of there. There'd be a smaller bin by the bed. You can see on the bin there is a cordless phone charger. That's actually hooked to a power pack inside that bin. Normally that would be by the bed, and that would be used to charge, you know, cell phones, computers, things like that. But it's an awesome tent. I'll tell you what, it rained to beat heck last night and today, and it doesn't let any water in. If there's any water in that tent, you let it in. So, you know, by unrolling the the sides too soon or whatever. But other than that, I mean, the rain does not get in that tent. It is awesome. It's got a cover on it. Nice thing about this cover is it actually, I don't know if I can show you, it actually, it's impossible to see, but it's actually, it's separate from the tent, right? So there's a gap, there's probably a foot gap between the tent and that cover, so it gets good airflow. And that's one of the things I liked about this. If you look here on the back side, you see all the windows, that whole back bed area. That's a queen bed. It's 20 inches high, and it's super comfortable. This actually is another door right there, so that can actually be opened up to a screen. I left it closed now just in case it rains, but here probably in an hour I'm going to open that up to the screen and again get more airflow. So when you're sitting in that right now, that air is flowing right through it. It's actually very, very comfortable. I've been sitting in there this afternoon. There was a late rain for a while. I had everything pulled up, just sat in there and listened to some podcasts, drank a beer, just relaxed. So camp is good. It's set up. You know, again, doesn't have full equipment, but I don't need full equipment. It's just me out here. So I'm gonna do a couple more things, and then I might go fish for a little bit, and then it'll be time for dinner. Get that camp stove ready and get the fire going and have a bite to eat. It's about 6:30. Saturday night. Beautiful night. The storms have finally passed. So I went out and I did a little bit more fishing, but no luck at all. And I talked to somebody else who's been fishing for a while. Same problem, no luck at all. But it was nice to be out. I threw a chair out, I had a beer, and just kind of relaxed along the riverbank. doesn't matter if you catch anything. So I had stopped on the way out and purchased some pre-made burgers. They're blue cheese burgers. It was kind of weird because it was like I could buy the regular burgers. They were $9 for 2 little burgers, or these pre-made ones they had on sale or something for, I don't know, it was like $7 for 2 great big, nice sized blue cheese burgers. So I went with that. So that's dinner tonight. We'll put some Swiss cheese on it, and it's an absolutely beautiful night. The temperature's down to about 81 degrees, and I don't know, man, it's quiet. I haven't heard the mutters running yet tonight. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat, and then I might run down to the boat landing and see if there's any fishing that I can do down there. I might do one more attempt at the fishing. So far, no luck at all. But you never know. That could change. So, burgers, maybe some fishing, and a cocktail. All in all, it was a great day. Did some hiking, did some fishing. I did a lot of driving around on the back roads of this wildlife management area, and it is absolutely beautiful. There's some designated campsites, there's hiking trails, there's horseback riding trails, there's fishing, there's a boat launch. Absolutely fabulous place. I'm definitely going to come back here with the kayaks and do a little more exploring. But right now, I'm just focused on eating, so I'll see you in a bit. Blue cheeseburgers cooked on the grill. Life is good. Beautiful evening. Great food cooking. Gotta love it. Yeah. That ought to do it. Double layer Swiss. Sweet and spicy mustard. Oh yeah. Time to get to eating. Ah, the sounds of the morning. I love it. Man, a beautiful morning out. It's 74 degrees. Nature is wide awake. More awake than me. Hey, morning. What an absolutely beautiful morning. I'm sure you can hear it. Nature is singing to me today, which is awesome. Had a little bit of wildlife in the camp, nothing big, just a squirrel and a rabbit this morning coming in to check out camp. Sandhills were hooting at me earlier. A little bit of Florida orange juice to kick off the day. So it's Sunday morning. It has remained empty here at the camp. I had that one couple in earlier just for the one quick night, and they left right away. There hasn't been anyone else in here other than a couple ATVers rode through with kids. They looked like they were looking for a fishing spot. But other than that, there's been no traffic, no noise. Now, I imagine tomorrow being Monday, things will get a little bit louder. But because, that crew, assuming that crew that's working on the habitat gets back to work and those machines start running. Truthfully, this camp has been absolutely fabulous. I mean, I give 4 stars. And truthfully, I give the camp 5 stars. I mean, it's got the outhouse is pretty clean, considering it's out in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't stink. I was fine using it. There aren't really fire pits. There's just kind of fire spots, which is fine. I mean, it worked just fine. Had a nice fire last night. Huge campsites with ample space and ample privacy. So I really enjoyed this. And the oak hammock gives you some shade. So when it's really hot, you can at least sit outside and get underneath the shade and get a little breeze and cool down a little bit. So that really makes a big difference. The only reason I would give it 4, and it has nothing to do with the camp, really. It's not the camp's fault, but it's the night noise. So I don't know. I still haven't figured out if it's airboats or if it's guys with big trucks out in the sand. There's a road that ends with some sugar sand. You can see people have been in there tearing it up. So I don't know if that's what they're doing or if it's airboats. But I mean, that doesn't bother me, except for the fact that they do it from about 11 o'clock at night till about 2 o'clock in the morning, or at least 1 o'clock in the morning. So that I did not care for. So, but I come to these places looking for the tranquilness of it. So, but everybody, it's a shared space, so that is what it is. Other than that, man, this place has been absolutely perfect. And I noticed a couple other campsites. As I mentioned, there's a hike-in one here that you can just you could park out here and walk into. There's a couple other, looks like, campsites. I do know, though, that I talked to someone yesterday that said they had camped in a couple of spots that were very camp-friendly, and they had got ticketed for that. So you definitely want to stay to the designated camping spots, is what I learned from that. Now, I haven't seen a warden or anything, but I'm sure they come through here from time to time, especially down along the water side. And I suppose where he had mentioned is where they're doing the tearing up of the sand, which, certainly is not allowed. So maybe that has something to do with the ticketing. I don't know. But anyway, it's a beautiful morning. I've got appointments tomorrow morning to attend to and some stuff to do at home. So I'm going to button up camp, and I have enough food. I could go one more night, but I think because of everything I've got going on tomorrow, I think I'm just going to head back and call it. I got some fishing in, some hiking. I got 2 nights in the tent. Man, my back feels better. Definitely way more relaxed. It's so therapeutic to come out here and do this kind of stuff. So, man, I don't know if you haven't done it in a long time, get back into it. If you've never done it and you want to get into it, grab a tent and get out and do it. If you're scared about or nervous about being out in the woods and not knowing what to do, find someone who'll go with you. Find a friend, find a family member, somebody will go out with you for a weekend and just kind of be there to help you out. If you don't have anybody to do that with, message me. We'll meet somewhere. We'll go do it if you're close to me. I'm not afraid to have someone else in camp. So, but get out, turn your phones off, turn the music off, listen to nature, and just read, walk, fish, sit, listen to nature. And you'll be amazed how therapeutic it is. So anyway, I'm going to carry on with a little breakfast and put everything away, and we'll call this a weekend. Thanks for tuning along. And get out there and do something wild. Quick side note, the importance of having something under your tent. So this is the footprint for my tent. Now this tent's only been used, I suppose, 3 or 4 times. And she's got a clean hole all the way through. Now, there's no damage to the tent that I could see, but that's the protector right there. That probably rubbed, over the course of a couple days. I didn't notice it when I set up. So, over the course of a couple days, it probably just rubbed through. But that is the importance of having something under your tent. If I hadn't had this down, that would have been my tent. And that's not something you want. So all the garbage is picked up in the camp, so remember, always leave it better than you found it. So the fire pit's clean, all the cans are gone, all the garbage has been picked up. I found garbage back behind the tent. That is all clean. So this camp is clean and ready for the next person. The only thing I got left is put that footprint away and all said to go. But just remember, just always try to make it better than you found it. I even crushed the eggshells. Not that that matters at all, because those are going to break down, But, you know, when you walk into a camp, you don't want to see someone else's garbage. So the crushed eggshells will get covered with leaves and break down even quicker. You know, you want to come into a campsite in the middle of this beautiful, beautiful canopy, and you want it to be peaceful and serene and clean. So that's what I left it for the next person.